What's My Line? Brought to you by Kellogg's. Kellogg's Cereals. The best to you each morning from Kellogg's of Battle Creek. Now let's all play What's My Line? And now, let's meet our What's My Line panel. First, the delightful star of stage and television, Miss Arlene Francis.
Thank you, Viv. I'll give it to you. And now, a gentleman who is very brave and has fought his way through the terrible traffic all the way from Mount Kisco to be with us tonight, Mr. Bennett Cerf.
And here's our village panel moderator, and a mighty man is he, John Charles Patrick Crowan Daly.
I knew the year 1962 would write its proper page of history, and Bennett finally got my full name right after 12 years of trying, and I think he ought to get a medal.
Doing, John.
I know it did, Bennett. Liberace, it's nice to have you with us on the panel tonight. I hope you enjoy the next half hour.
Thank you.
Try to make it a lively one for you anyway. We will also have a famous mystery guest before my friends on the panel a little bit later in the program. We'll meet our first challenger after this. And now to meet our first challenger. Will you enter and sign in, please? Mr. X. How do you do, Mr. X? Mr. X, where are you from?
New Jersey.
New Jersey?
Yes.
It's nice to have you with us. I think the panel doesn't need to be told that you're going to be Mr. X for a very good reason, but I would like to present the panel, if I may. Now, would you join me here, Mr. X? Do you know how we keep score on What's My Line?
Yes.
In that event, I think it would be a nice time to let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. All right, panel, we can tell you that Mr. X is salaried and deals in a service. And we'll begin the general questioning with Arlene Francis.
Mr. X, is it a service that those of us on the panel might use?
Yes.
Are you Mr. X because your name has been in the papers a great deal?
I presume so.
Would one come to you for the service?
Yes.
Does it have anything to do with the entertainment world?
Could be.
Would you be more active behind the scenes rather than as a performer?
No.
1 down and 9 to go. Liberace.
Is your service something that you would consider entertaining to the public?
Could be.
Is it, do you represent yourself as an individual in this work, this service you perform? Are you, may I say, are you the only one who does this particular service?
Yes.
Well, now, let me clarify that. I would say that in any individual case, this would be true, but it does not rule out the possibility that others could supply this same service at another place or another time. Would you agree with that?
That's right.
And you've received a lot of publicity for it, so it must be either very famous or infamous.
We don't have any people.
Only on the panel.
I'll have to pass.
All right, Miss Kilgallen?
You say you come from New Jersey, but is it possible that you do whatever you do in other places outside of New Jersey?
Yes.
Does music have anything to do with what you do?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. X, do you do your service for a profit-making organization?
Yes.
Have you ever performed your service in or about Atlantic City?
Yes.
Have you anything at all to do with the Miss America pageant?
No.
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
Well, I'm sure he was never even a runner-up. Handsome though he is in his own right. Have you ever performed on television, Mr. X?
Yes.
Would you ever be liable to perform on or with a panel?
Yes.
You mean in an appearance on television?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. It is possible that in a television appearance he might appear in this form, but it does not exclude other forms.
Could you be considered a moderator on television?
No.
That's 4 down and 6 to go, Liberace.
Is this entertainment that you are associated with, is it something of a dangerous nature?
No.
5 down and 5 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Mr. X, does this entertainment ever take place out of doors?
No.
6 down and 4 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. X, have you got...
May I qualify that statement?
Yeah.
It could.
Has it in your personal experience?
Yes, it has.
Dorothy, you have a qualified yes.
And I don't know what to do with it. All right. Do you use your hands in your work?
Yes.
Do you ever do any writing?
No.
That makes it 6 down and 4 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. X, have you ever done any announcing, such as giving out the news or the weather or work of that general character?
No.
7 down and 3 to go, Miss Francis.
Is there anything educational about what you do?
No.
8 down and 2 to go, Liberace.
Does your work emanate from one particular source in New Jersey? You said you perform this work in other places, but is New Jersey indicative of the source of your profession?
No.
That's 9 down and 1 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Do you work for a non-profit-making organization?
No.
Profit-making.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Hmm?
Profit-making organization.
Profit-making organization.
That's been previously determined, so we won't rule on it.
Well, he said out of doors. Do you have anything to do with athletics or sports?
Yes.
But it's chiefly an indoor sport, is that correct? Because you said that you don't, because I asked you if you perform your work out of doors, and I got a very qualified yes.
Basketball.
So your question is it chiefly an indoor sport?
Yes.
That's your
and
question.
I get a no. Well, he made
No,
it
you
sound...
get a yes.
You get
I
a
do?
yes.
Oh,
Yes.
it's chiefly an indoor sport.
Try basketball.
All right, I'll try basketball. Is it
No.
basketball?
No, that's 10 down.
I don't know.
Mr. Moscone, would you like to introduce yourself? Willie Moscone,
Oh!
the world's pocket billiards
Yes,
champion,
indeed.
held the championship. And I must say, Willie, that you're a champion of even another kind. I've never seen the panel in many, many moons as puzzled about an occupation as they have been about yours. That's great news for us. But you've held the championship 17 times since when?
I've held it 15 times, John, out of the last 20 years.
Out of the last 20 years. That's a
Mr.
wonderful...
Moscone, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Didn't you coach Paul Newman when he was making The Hustler? Didn't you have something to do with
Yes,
that?
Paul
Jackie,
Newman
too.
and also Jackie Gleason.
You trained them?
No, actually, Jackie
Gleason.
plays very well.
He didn't
Mr.
need
Gleason
much
plays
training,
very
did he?
well. But I did set up a couple of shots for him in the picture. With Newman, I think Newman made 3 or 4 shots himself in that picture. But all of the fancy stuff, I more or less perform.
Actually, you're with the Brunswick Bowling and Billiard Corporation. He goes around all over the country now giving exhibitions and doing technical work where it's necessary in the other entertainment fields. But one of the things, I had a chance to talk with Mr. Moscone for a moment before the program, and I said, well, how's pool playing doing? Has it got the public fancy? And he said, well, pool is slang. There isn't anything really pool. It's pocket billiards or cushion billiards. And where did the pool come from?
Well, actually, years ago in England, they more or less had horse rooms. And they called these particular horse rooms pool rooms. In other words, they went there to bet the pools.
To bet the horse
betting
pools. And that slang crept over
That's right. Well, eventually they put in a billiard table or two, and this is where the nickname got to be popular.
Well, good. Tonight, the panel pooled all its efforts and struck out. Thanks to you, and thanks for being our guest in What's My Line. Nice to see you. Now to meet our second challenger. Will you enter and sign in, please? Ursel Weiler. Is that right? Is it Miss or Mrs. Weiler?
Miss Weiler.
Miss Weiler. And where are you from?
Well, I was born in Berlin, Germany, but I live in Springfield, Mass. now.
Springfield, Massachusetts.
That's right.
Miss Weiler, may I present our panel?
How do you do?
Now, would you join me over here, please? You know how we keep score on What's
Yes,
My Line?
I do.
All right, we'll let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. All right, panel. Miss Weiler is salaried and deals in a product, and we'll begin the general questioning with Bennett Cerf.
Miss Weiler, is the product that you deal with something that could be used by both sexes?
Yes, it is.
Could be used equally, therefore, by Arlene or Dorothy or Mr. Liberace or myself. Is that correct?
Yes, it could be. The circumstances would require that you'd have some interest in the use of it, to be sure of it. If you had any interest in the use of it, it would be freely available and equally facile to the use of any one of the four of you.
Miss Weiler, is the product in which you deal more apt to be found among people who are in enforced captivity than among free people?
Yes, it is.
Would it be used in some kind of a prison? Possibly?
Possibly.
Mm-hmm. Does the product come into actual physical contact with the people who are using it?
Yes, it does.
Is your product portable?
Yes, it is.
Is it made of metal?
Yes.
Possibly steel?
Yes.
Have you anything to do with handcuffs?
Yes, I
How did you do that?
I haven't the faintest idea.
John, I can tell you, and Liv and Arlene can confirm this, that when Bennett started asking it, I said handcuffs to them. It came like lightning.
I think they've both been in jail together.
We've been handcuffed together.
For years.
Well, that's the only explanation that I could find readily in my mind, was that Bennett has spent so much time in them, they're second nature to him now. Well, the first thing we have to do, Miss Weiler, for somebody who's come from Germany recently and is now working with us, is to throw that over. What does Miss Weiler have to do with the handcuffs, Bennett?
I hope she doesn't adjust them on people.
No, she doesn't.
You're probably concerned in their manufacturing.
That's absolutely right. The Universal Tool Company in Springfield. Well,
Amazing.
Miss Weiler, I'm stunned. You are too. But it was a brief visit. I hope you enjoyed it. It was very nice to have you with us. Thank you. Well, we'll meet tonight's mystery guest in just a moment, but first, here is a word from our sponsor. And now we come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery challenger, for which, as you all know, the panel is always blindfolded. Are the blindfolds all in place, panel?
Yes, sir.
Good. Will you enter mystery challenger and sign in, please? you know, panel, different form of questioning, one question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise, and we'll begin with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Well, there are an awful lot of wolf whistles. I hope I'm not embarrassing anybody when I say, are you a beautiful, curvaceous movie star?
I hardly think so.
Well, that's
One
what I
out of
figured.
9 to go, Mr. Stern.
Would you
Curvaceous, perhaps.
have you ever been a member of the panel of What's My Line?
Yes, I have been on several times.
Miss Francis?
Are you a comedian? Are you ever?
I have to be very good.
Liberace?
Well, judging from the laughs when our mystery guest entered, he must be a very funny person, not only to look at, but to listen to.
You know Zazak a boy, you know.
Are you a television comedian?
I think so.
Miss Kilgallen?
Oh, I just know I can't say anything right tonight. Are you Jackie Leonard?
See, Dorothy, at least you were 1/3 right. Curvaceous, yes. Actually, no, this is one of the great stories. I know that Jack's proud of it, too. He has, all of his close friends call him Fat Jack.
Well, I used to be known as Fat Jack.
He used to be known as Fat Jack, but this is Jack. How many pounds did you lose when you
I lost
quit your
100. I lost 148 pounds. I'm going for 30 more now. Maybe I can go into publishing business like Bennett Sher.
You'll lose them that way, Jack.
I'm sure. I'd be very happy to go to your bank with you anytime you want.
But it goes without saying that everybody understands why he's known as the fastest of the ad-libbers.
Well,
I don't think there's anybody who is courageous enough really to cross swords with you unless perhaps the moon is in phase or something like that.
Well, I appreciate that. You being a South African understand how I feel about this.
I do?
Well, I once more I feel very thrilled. It's been a couple of years since I've been on this show. Of course, I was part of the panel one time and parts of other panels. But I finally got an okay again from Mark Goodson and his very wonderful partner, the late Bill Todman. So I thought perhaps I could come on again, and I'm very thrilled about this whole mess that we've had here tonight.
Well, Jack, thank you for coming and making a mess out of it for us.
Thank you. I certainly enjoyed seeing you, John.
Nice to have
Thank
you
you.
with us, man. We'll have another contestant after this message. And now to meet a final contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? Robert DeVries, right? I was discussing with Mr. DeVries if it was DeVries or DeVray because I wasn't sure of the accent mark, but I was right in the first place. It's Mr. DeVries, panel. Where are you from, Mr. DeVries?
I'm originally from Holland.
Originally from Holland?
Yes, I live in New Jersey now.
You live in New Jersey now. This is New Jersey night on What's My Line. Mr. DeVries, may I present our panel? Will you join me over here? Do you know how we keep score? Oh, fine. Then we'll let the audience at home and the audience in the theater know exactly what your line is. Mr. DeVries is salaried and deals in a service. And let's begin the general questioning with Liberace.
Mr. DeVries, you obviously are a very young man, so this service you perform is something you've acquired in your more recent years, I would assume. And judging from the reaction of our audience, I would say that it's an amusing kind of service. Is it amusing?
Yes.
Well, let me say, I don't think the service of itself is necessarily amusing, but it could, under some circumstances, be considered amusing. Let's put it that way.
I see. Is it a service that you extend toward a member of a household, like the housewife?
No.
No.
Well, I would say this, that a housewife could ask for the service. I'm going to give you a no anyway, Liberace,
Right.
but it would not be restricted solely to that particular element of a normal family group. Miss Kilgallen?
Do you work for a profit-making organization?
Do you work for a profit-making organization?
Yes.
Could your service be applied to men and women?
Yes.
Is there one sex that is more interested in it than another?
No.
I wouldn't say so here. It would be pretty much depend on whether if you had a need of the service, it wouldn't make a difference
Oh,
whether
it's
you...
handcuffs.
Not quite. That's 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Sir.
Mr. V, is there a product involved in the service that you perform?
Well, there is a product associated with it, yes, but he himself deals in a service.
Yes, but there is a... Would the product for which you perform this service be something that could be consumed?
No, I don't...
I thought he might be the Heineken beer man.
No, I don't think so. 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
Well, now, can you perform this service out of doors, Mr. DeVries?
No.
No, must be done in the house.
Yes.
That's, in its basic term of reference, it would have to be 4 down and 6 to go, Liberace.
Is this service you perform something that can be found in the Yellow Pages?
In its character, yes.
Yes. Would you say it was a very highly specialized service?
I would think so, yes. I would say it's a service which you could only perform after, 1, having some basic skills, and 2, a good deal of training. And I think the demand for it, again, would tend to keep it specialized. Wouldn't you say so?
Is there any danger connected with it?
5 down and 5 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
May I rule out that you are a doctor of any sort?
You're not a doctor of any sort.
No.
You can rule that out.
Do you work with your hands at all?
Yes.
Do you have any tools or instruments or implements when you work?
Yes.
And you apply them to something
Yes.
for the benefit of the people who engage your services?
Yes.
Do you repair something rather than make something?
Yes.
Does this something have anything to do with electricity? Is it connected in any way, or does it function by reason of being electrified?
No, I wouldn't think so. And I'm afraid we've begun to run out of time, and I want...
One swack at it.
All right, Bennett.
Are you a plumber, Mr. DeVries?
A plumber?
No.
But that's close. But you play them all, I know that.
I'd like to point out,
we had a
John...
lot of fun having you with us, and congratulations on giving the panel a rough time. It's nice to have had you with us. Thank you.
I've met some piano tuners who were plumbers.
That's right. Thank you. Well, I'm afraid once again I've done what I shouldn't do, and that's to use up all the time. Let me thank Liberace once again for being with us. Hope you enjoyed yourself, and say good night for all of the panel and for me, and thanks for being with us on What's My Line.
What's My Line is a CBS television network production in association with Mark Goodson and Bill Todman. Johnny Olson speaking. Preceding program was pre-recorded.